Now you're applying for a health worker job and you're saying one of your hobbies that you love sleeping. It's a turn off, it's a red flag. Will you be sleeping at work? Or what has that hobby got to do with the position you are applying for? You shouldn't be using email address that is like Ajoke Sexy, You shouldn't be using email address like Slim Baby. All those email address that sounds unprofessional, that sounds offensive. You shouldn't use such email address. If you're applying for a professional role, your email address should be your name generally. It should be your name. Hey everyone, it's Roseline and welcome back to my channel. This is Roseline YouTube channel, and today we are diving into one of the most important aspects of job hunting, and that is creating a killer resume. You are not killing anyone. This resume is essentially your ticket to the job interview, and trust me, first impressions matter. So whether you're a seasoned professional looking to climb the career ladder or you're a fresh graduate stepping into the professional world, this video is for you. I know that putting together a resume can be a daunting task. What do you include? What do you leave out? How do you make it stand out from the rest? Well, fear not, I've got you covered with tips, tricks, and a step-by-step guide to drafting a resume that not only showcases your skills and experiences, but also leaves a lasting impression on potential employers. So whether you're starting from the scratch or you're looking to give your current resume a makeover, we are going to cover everything from formatting and content to the subtle act of highlighting your achievements. A well-crafted resume is like a marketing brochure for you. So by the end of this video, you would have the tools to create a document that opens doors and gets you noticed. Now, before we jump into the details, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on upcoming career tips, job opportunities, job search strategies, and everything else you need to navigate the professional world. And if you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, like, drop a comment, ask your questions in the comment section, and don't forget to share to everyone who might benefit from this. And now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of your resume building. I am Roseline and you're watching Roseline YouTube channel. Let's dive in. This is the official page of the job bank, jobbankgc.ca. Find the job resources, right, good resume. And this page is so profound in giving us the necessary information that we need in writing a good resume. How to write a good resume. Your resume must clearly and concisely, strategically present your qualifications to get a recruiter interested in meeting you. It should convey your skills, your work experience, and assets. The resume is used to describe what you can accomplish professionally in a manner that also illustrates what you can do for an employer. Job opportunities can arise unexpectedly. An updated modern resume is the key to a successful job search. Here are the do's and the don'ts of how to write a good resume and what to include. So what I'm able to bring out from here, your resume must be up to date, it must be clear, it must be concise. Don't beat around the bush. Write the exact thing. Let it be concise. Let it be strategic. Go straight to the point. Let it be clear, not ambiguous. Also, it should include your skills, your work experience, and your assets. The things you have done, the developments that you have done in your previous jobs. Your resume should be able to describe your professional qualities, should be able to describe who you are and what you have done in your previous employment. Now, what are the do's and don'ts of a resume? What are those things that makes your resume perfect? What are those things that makes your resume catchy to the employer? Resume writing do's. Number 1, keep your resume clear and concise. An employer takes an average of 30 seconds to skim a resume. You want them to see right away that you are qualified for the position. That is not a time to be writing stories. make it clear, make it concise. So it's here that an employer takes an average second to skim through your resume, not to thoroughly read. Now, there are things that would attract, that will catch the attention of your employer, that will make him say, oh, wow, okay, let me take time to now sit down to go through the resume. But first, we just go through at a glance in the first 30 seconds, to just go through, and if it is catchy, then it would sit to read through like details. But if there's nothing that interests him in that 30 seconds, then he will drop it. So make sure it is clear and concise. Secondly, proofread your resume numerous times. Be sure there are no spelling or grammar mistakes. Have someone else read it over as well. A simple spelling mistake on a resume can give a negative impression to your employer. It can even prevent you from getting the job, because you're expected to be professional. So make sure you scan through, make sure you read through for spelling mistakes, read through for grammar mistakes. If you cannot do it, you can pay those people that would help you build a good resume. You can ask people to read through for you to be sure everything is okay. Also, limit your resume to 2 pages. Place the emphasis of your resume on your most recent experience. Older jobs and experience that are more than 15 years old should either be cut out or minimized. This way, the employer can focus on the more relevant information. So limit your resume to 2 pages. Don't let it be too long. Don't have resume of 4 or 5 pages, Even if you have older experiences of like 20 years, 15 years, like that, make sure your emphasis is on the most recent experiences. If you want to put in the older experiences, then make it short. Minimize it, just write it in probably bullet points, so that they will know that, okay, you have worked here and here and here, but emphasize more on the most recent experiences, so that if you don't have to take time, if you have to be writing on each, then you know that it will consume lots of pages and you don't want it to be so bulky. So limit your resume to 2 pages. This way, the employer can focus on the most relevant and the important information in your resume. The next point says, tailor your resume to suit the position you are applying for. Very important. It says, specify work experience or achievements that are related to the position you are applying to. This can be done by reviewing the job description or the employer website. Many people, because they can do the work of a plumber, they can do the work of a carpenter, they would be applying for the job of a plumber with the CV of a carpenter. That is not acceptable. Make sure you have CVs that would suit each position. If you're applying for the position of a carpenter, make sure you tailor your CV to that job description. If you're applying for a plumber, make sure you tailor your CV to that job description. Don't let your CV be cumbersome. The same CV, one CV, you have experience of plumber, you have experience of construction, you have experience of carpenter, you have experience in one CV to be so cumbersome, and it can irritate the employer and they will not be able to go through it. So make sure you tailor your resume to suit that particular position that you're applying for. Next is to highlight what you have accomplished. You want to be able to identify the best examples of where you demonstrated your skills. These examples should speak to what you achieved in your role and should demonstrate what kind of employee you are. It is best to include this information in the work experience section of the resume. So in the work experience section of the resume, make sure you highlight those things you have accomplished, how you were able to accomplish it. Oh, in my 5 years of working in so and so company, I was able to accomplish this. I was able to get this done. I was able to work as a team with others to be able to achieve this. Make sure you highlight what you have accomplished in your previous places of work, in your previous organizations in your resume. Also, be honest. Lying on your resume is never a good idea. You don't want to overstate your skills or results, as it will mislead the employer. Have confidence in what you have to offer. Okay, before I talk about being honest, also in highlighting what you have accomplished, and it's still part of being honest. Don't lie. Make sure those things you are lighting by saying, oh, when I worked in so and so company, I was able to achieve this and that. Make sure they are verifiable, so that when they have to verify, they wouldn't see that, oh, you are lying. And that brings me back to this part of being honest. Don't lie. Don't exaggerate. Lying on your resume is not a good idea. You don't want to exaggerate. You don't want to overstate your skill, as it would mislead the employer. They might decide to do a background check, and then they will discover that you have been lying all along, and you know that that is a no, that's a red flag, and you won't be able to get that job. Also, quantify your achievements. Use firm numbers that the employer will understand and be impressed by. For example, how many people you supervised, how many products you sold, by what percentage you increased sales, etc. And that is just to help expatiate on highlight what you have accomplished. So in highlighting what you have accomplished, make sure you are specific. Quantify what your achievements are. Oh, for example, in my previous work experience, I was able to boost the sale by 30%. I was able to boost the sale by 80%. Make sure they are verifiable. Don't lie, be honest, but quantify your achievements. Oh, I was able to work with a team of 20 individuals. I was able to make sure they are quantifiable, not just I was able to work as a team. I was able to know. When you are quantifying those achievements, it makes it kind of authentic. It makes it kind of, oh, it's real. So she's able to know how many people, she's able to know by what percentage, she's able to know what she's able to do. It makes your employer more impressed than just stating, okay, I did this, I did that, and it's not quantified. Also, use simple words and action verbs. The person reading your resume might not always be the employer. Resumes can be reviewed by recruiters or human resource specialists, the HRs, who may not be familiar with your specific field. So use simple plain language, but also persuasive verbs such as handled, managed, led, developed, increased, accomplished, leveraged. These are normal English. These are not bogus words. These are not words that are professional based, like you are into the healthcare and you want to draft your CV. This is not the time to be putting all those medical words, medical jargons inside your CV, because you never can tell who is going through it. Make sure you are using simple and plain action verbs, words that can be understood both by those in the health field and those that are not, depending on whatever profession you are in. You are into construction and you are putting all those grammars and the jargons for whatever profession you are into. What if the person reading it is not into that profession? What if it is just an HR specialist who has no idea of that profession? I mean, who has no in-depth knowledge of that profession. So make sure you are using simple words and action verbs that can be understood by many. At this point, I'm not saying you should water down your English. I'm saying use the right word, use persuasive verbs, use action verbs. I did this. I was able to undo this. I managed this, Use persuasive words, verbs, action words that can be understood by all. Include unpaid work that show off your skills. If you have volunteered with a well-known organization or worked for an important cause, put it in your resume. You should include these experiences under the work experience or the volunteer work section, especially if they are related to the position you are applying for. So that is self-explanatory. If you have done any volunteer jobs that you were not paid, but it is related to the position you're applying for, you can also add it to your CV. You can add it under the work experience section, or you create another section as is volunteer work, the volunteer work section, and you include those volunteer jobs, volunteer positions you have filled, those unpaid work that you have done that is related to the position you're applying for. Also, double check and include your contact information. They might want to reach out to you. Make sure your contact information is correct. Your resume should list your name, your address, your email, and your phone number. This information should be placed at the top of the first page. Also make sure this information is accurate, otherwise the employer won't be able to contact you. What is the essence of having a good resume, a perfect resume, and your employer is not able to contact you because there was a mistake in the spelling, of your email address or your contact number, your contact address, your phone number is not going through, there was a mistake in the numbering. You can tell that that's just a waste of time. They won't be able to contact you and you won't be able to get the job. So it's important you scan through even after you have done your CV, after you have drafted your CV, that perfect CV. Make sure you scan through for spelling mistakes, scan through for grammar mistakes, scan through for little things like this, your phone number, your contact number, your email address, your home address, and also the spelling of your name. Very important. Now let's go to the resume writing don'ts, those things you shouldn't add to your resume. Number 1, don't use an inappropriate email address. Make sure your email is easy to read, easy to type, professional, and non-offensive. In general, your email address should be based on your name. Exclude any nicknames, numbers, or special character. So because this is a professional, you're applying for a professional role, you shouldn't be using email address that is like Ajoke Sexy. You shouldn't be using email address like Slim Baby. All those email address that sounds unprofessional, that sounds offensive. You shouldn't use such email address. If you're applying for a professional role, your email address should be your name. Generally, it should be your name. Your name is ajoke.nike. So it can be ajokenike@yahoo.com, ajoke.nike, whatever your name is, stonewall.this, right? Not all those sexy, baby, beauty. No. Use an appropriate email address. Don't use inappropriate email address. No, we are talking about the don't. So don't use an inappropriate email address. Don't put your nickname as your email address. If that is the case, then you have to open a new email address for that, for the sake of job hunting. Next, don't include unnecessary personal information. This is important. It's best to leave out any personal details such as your age, your weight, your height, your marital status, religious preference, political view, any other personal attributes that can be controversial. In fact, some countries, they tell you don't even have to put your passport photograph. They don't want to know what nationality you are from. They don't want anything that will make them biased. They don't want anything that will make them see that you are a black or you are a white, and they say, oh, we prefer the black to the white. They don't even want you to put your passport photograph. They don't want you to put your nationality, your weight, your age, your marital status, your religious preference, those things that will cause controversy. They don't want you to put it there. This will prevent potential bias. Most importantly, never include your SIN number. This is for those in Canada. If you are a worker, you have a social insurance number. Never include your social insurance number in your resume. Never include it. So for all of those CV, that your age is there, your weight is there, your height, your marital status, your religious preference, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm an atheist, your political view, and other personal attributes, please, it's time you remove them. It's not professional enough, okay? So let's go to the next one. Don't include a picture of yourself, and I said that earlier. Don't include a picture of yourself. Don't include a passport photograph in your resume. They don't need it. In some countries, it may be accepted to include a photo, but in Canada, it is not the norm. It can actually lower your chances of obtaining a position and divert the whole focus of your resume. You want the employer to focus on your skills and experience and not what you look like. And that's the truth. In some countries, it is acceptable. They did not say anything in it, but it is not the norm in Canada. And it's still something, what I said about, your personal information. They don't want anything that will cause controversy. They don't want anything that will make it seem like, oh, it's because you're white, it's because you're black, it's because you are this. Anything that will cause controversy, anything that will make them to be biased, they don't want it. So don't bother. Don't put your passport photograph. Don't put your age, your weight, your status, status, your this, your that. Just put the important details, which are your phone number, your name, your phone number, your email address. Those are the important things, because that is what they need to contact you if you are qualified. Those are things needed to contact you: your name, your email address, and your phone number. Every other thing, such as your age, your weight, your height, your this, your that, your passport photograph, is not needed in your resume, especially if you're applying for Canada jobs. Don't use too many bullets. Make your resume easy to read by limiting each resume section or subsection to 5 to 7 bullets. So they are saying you should use between 5 to 7 bullets. Don't let it be too much. Don't let it exceed 7 bullets. This will make it easier for the employer to scan your resume and identify your potential. Each bullet point should be used wisely by keeping the information relevant and concise. So don't use too many bullets. Don't use personal pronouns like I, mine, me. Write your resume in the third person as if it's being written by someone else. What this is trying to say is, for example, instead of I am experienced and highly motivated person, you just write experienced and highly motivated professional, having a track record of this, that, not I am experienced and highly motivated, I have the track record of this. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So don't use those personal pronouns. Just write your resume in the third person as if it's been written by someone else. Also, don't simply list job responsibilities. Your job duties will be obvious from your job title. Instead, highlight your achievements by putting a personal spin on your job duties and providing specific examples. So make sure it has a job title, probably where you worked and the years that you worked, and then you highlight your achievements underneath and also add those job responsibilities. Don't just start clicking and just bullet job responsibilities. That way you have lots of bullet points. So this is just to help you accommodate your job responsibilities and also accommodate your achievements while doing the job. And you can also cite examples all together. So it would help to reduce the bullet points that you would have to write. The next is saying, don't make general statements. Stay clear from vague statements that don't highlight your actual contribution. Unclear statements such as responsible for improving efficiencies and making cost savings does not provide any information to an employer. Personalize your experience. Now, looking at this, you will say that they did not say, I am responsible for improving efficiencies and making cost savings, because they don't want you to use those personal pronouns in your CV, in your resume. So take away those personal pronouns. I am responsible for, I did this, I am, they just wrote responsible for improving efficiencies and making cost saving. But now what this is saying is that when you just write something like this, responsible for improving efficiencies and making cost-effective saving, making cost savings, it does not provide any information to the employer. How were you able to achieve this? At what percentage? How quantifiable is it? How verifiable is it? It's just writing it this way does not give detailed information, and they would see it as, okay, it's just one of those things that she just got on the internet, and she just wrote it down here. It's not verifiable. That's what they would think. So don't just make general statements. Just pick something from the internet and write. Make sure it is catchy. Make sure it is. And one of those things that will make it catchy is when you quantify it, when you explain it. I don't mean lengthy explanation, but when you try to make it understandable that I was responsible in improving what kind of efficiency, what kind of cost savings, and then what percentage, how were you able to do it, in what organization. Also, don't include reasons for leaving your previous jobs. The main purpose of your resume is to promote you, to promote your skills, experience, and achievements. It should be entirely positive and therefore should not include reasons for leaving, as it does not add any value to you as a candidate. If they want to know the reason why you left your previous job, they would ask you during the interview. They would ask you one-on-one discussion, Don't include it in your resume. Don't include the reason why you leave or why you left your previous job. If they needed to know, they would ask you during the interview. Don't include references. An employer only requires references if they are seriously considering hiring you. So keep references on a separate sheet and provide them only when they are specifically requested. So they are saying even when you have those references, just keep them on a separate sheet. The only time you give them your resume is when they specifically request for it. So if they did not request for it, then keep them out of your resume. Don't include the references. And then don't include hobbies and interests. Don't include hobbies and interests. It is not recommended to mention hobbies because of the judgments potential employers can make. However, if your hobbies relate to the position, yes, then you may include them as they may demonstrate to the employer why you are a good fit. Now, don't include hobbies like I love sleeping, I love eating, I love when they have nothing to do with the position you are applying for. Now you are applying for a health worker job and you are saying one of your hobbies that you love sleeping. It's a turn off, it's a red flag. Will you be sleeping at work? Or what has that hobby got to do with the position you are applying for? I love eating. Do you want to be eating at work? What has it got to do with what you're applying for? So don't include hobby, don't include your interest, except it has something to do with the position you're applying for. Then you can include it, as it would make you a good fit for that position. Alright, so those are the things that I have to say about having a good CV. Now looking at it, you see that I got this information from jobbank.gc.ca. So this is a Canadian website and it is verifiable, it is legit. So make sure you go through your CV again and do the necessary editing. Add the addables, remove the removables. All those age, weights, all those things that are not necessary, remove them and do the needful. Make sure your CV is catchy. Also work on your cover letter. Make sure it is concise and clear, not ambiguous, not something that they'll be like, I don't understand, what is it trying to say here? Okay, let it be clear and concise, and I wish you the best. You also have the opportunity. It says if you want to create a professional resume in a few minutes, you should sign up for a job bank account to use our free resume builder tool. So you can also make use of this opportunity. Just come to the site and then sign up. When you sign up, you will see the resume builder tool, which you can use to draft out your own CV also. So this is what I have for you in this video, and I wish you the very best in your job hunting. Thank you very much for watching this channel. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? With all the opportunities, with all the information, with all of my research to bring you videos upon videos, you have not subscribed. What are you doing? So make sure you like and subscribe. In fact, subscribe right now, right? Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, share with your friends. That will benefit